Alright, it is time to talk about a new video, and before I get to this video, I'd tell you something. I should have mentioned this in my last 3 videos, but I changed my studio, not like studio, but like my video editing app, because the last one I was using wasn't working anymore, so I found a new one to take its spot, which is why it looks far more different now. My videos yeah, with that out of the way, I just had to get that to kind of start off. Today's video is what if Gwess joined the main group? Basically based on the idea of the Joe Bro being the first antagonist and then later joining the crew, because uh that trope was pretty good actually. And if you don't know how that trope works, it kind of started in part 3 where you meet your Joe Bro. In Jotaro's case that was Kakuin, in Josuke's case it was Okuyasu, and in Journo's case it was Bruno. So what would happen if that trope at least got to happen one last time? Well, I mean, maybe not one last time. I haven't seen part 7 or 8 yet, so I don't know if Johnny and Gappy fight their Joe Bros. But anyway, what would happen if Jolene was able to get Gwess to join their group? How would the story change? Well, I mean, Gwess already wanted to join, but Jolene just told her not to, so what happens if Jolene was okay with her joining? We'll see. How does our story change?
So, part 6 goes the same, like the beginning half. Everything that happened still happens. Jolene and Gwess still fight, Jolene beats Gwess, and Jolene and Jotaro still have that whole thing. But, after that, Gwess decides to join the crew. As for how, maybe in Jolene and Gwess's first introduction, she accepts her, or maybe she can kind of tag along with the Foo Fighters fight, which we'll say she does. That whole thing kind of goes the same. I could, I don't really see her being useful in that arc. Maybe she can shrink down Foo Fighters, but I still think the arc could kind of go the same. Next kind of small change. Now, like, these aren't going to be big changes. This is like a really short video. I gotta tell you that it's not gonna talk about a lot. Mainly due to the fact that the Joe Bros don't do much in part 6. But, yeah. There'll be some anime, some manga spoilers. I should have told you a long time ago since I started JoJo What Ifs. But part 6 wise, there will be manga spoilers, so if you guys are not on where the current arc is currently, then yeah, it sucks to be you. But anyway, that whole thing would kind of go the same. We kind of get uh, Foo Fighters still joining, and Gwess could help with that one girl, forgot her name, the one with the similar to the Darby brothers, where you have to fight her in like a game and not a physical fight. Maybe Gwess can kind of make an appearance. She could probably play a similar role to how Hermes and did. Maybe she can do a bet and then she can lose an organ. That whole thing all happens, and that would kind of be where that part goes. Next fight to change would be Sports Max, in my opinion, which I could see Gwess probably helping. I don't think she'd be too useful, and I don't think she'd be too useless here. I would probably just see her helping a little bit. Maybe she could shrink an opponent down. She can shrink down the zombies if they get too close. Even though that's kind of not really how her ability works, if I remember. I don't know. I don't really remember how her ability works. It's been a while. But, yeah. She also helped not Jolene, but Foo Fighters and Anasui in busting her out of the punishment ward. And that whole arc kind of goes the same. Maybe Gwess can shrink that Dragon's Dream dude, and then they can kill him, because legitimately, that saves us from that boring fight. Well, I mean, in the manga it was boring. This was actually pre-recorded before Batch 1 actually came out, by the way, so, I hope you guys get lucky and the Dragon's Dream fight wasn't that bad of a fight in the anime. Because in the manga, it's a real snooze fest. But back to where I'm at. What else would Gwess do? Maybe she'll stay behind with the Foo Fighters, or she would their stay around with Jolene and Anasui. If she stays around with Foo Fighters, then that means Gwess probably dies right there. But if she goes along with Foo Fighters, not Foo Fighters, but Anasui and Jolene, uh, she could help, I guess. Not big helping, but like she could help in the Green Baby fight. Battle of two strands of like two stands that will shrink each other. Don't even know how that would work. It'd be a cool, interesting fight. I don't even know how that would go. And I could say the arc goes the same. Everything in the story kind of goes the same. Gwess can maybe help Jolene in that arc because she did actually help her in the original timeline. So I really hope that this time they'd actually have a close relationship to a point where they would help. Gwess did kind of help in that fight, but not a lot. So she'd actually be a lot more useful in this timeline. Or she could go with Hannah Sweeney and Weather, but I doubt she would. How would the rest of the arcs change? Uh, Raquel still dies, unfortunately. I kind of like that guy. Sucks he had to go. And Donatello. Gwess could probably find a way to use Goo Goo Dolls to shrink it down. I think that's what would change, because that would actually be an interesting way for her to use her ability. Arc would probably go the same. And how would the story end? Uh, if we're like putting up in the Poochie fights, I don't see her being too useful against Sea Moon and Maiden Heaven at that point. There's nothing she could honestly do. Maybe take a blow for Jotaro. But I think maybe she could stall enough time for Jolene to get out alive. If she isn't killed with either not Emporio, but Anasui and Hermes or Jotaro, then maybe she can stall some time for Jolene to make an escape. She can shrink Poochie down, and Poochie could try his best. I think he'd probably just slit her throat or something fast, and then the effects can undo, which could give Jolene enough time to escape, and she could actually survive Part 6 if that's the case. So no Irene, and we would just get plain old Jolene. We can probably get alternative world Gwess and Anasui get married, I guess, or alternative world Hermes and Anasui. I don't know. As long as it's not Anasui and Jolene, I am good. And that's all the changes. Uh, not a lot of changes. Just little small changes. The only big change is that Jolene might actually survive. So, yeah. How do you like this video? Tell me in the comments below what your take on this idea was. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.